am a powerful void creature in the universe, now almost becoming a pet for the woman in front of me. My instincts told me this woman was very dangerous, but as a powerful member of the Void Clan, how could I choose to become someone's slave? When King Si Xian Jin turned her gaze toward me, she realized I also needed to consume a lot of genes to evolve. So she wanted to take me in. The room was unusually quiet at this moment, because I knew she wasn't lying, and she had no reason to lie. The blade on her wrist is a Kale steel claw. Even my tough exterior can't protect me from it. Although she just took it out, I knew she had many other weapons to kill me. For now, obeying her is the most reasonable choice. When she saw me lower my hands, Si Xian Yu Jin slightly smiled. She saw my choice. Good, you made the right decision. Although on the surface I bowed my head, she could never guess my true thoughts. The reason I was so fascinated by this useless character in the game is simple. Because of the freedom to choose, it can endlessly devour and evolve to grow stronger. And my choice only has one. It is absolutely impossible for me to surrender to her. At the same time, I lowered my head and slowly walked towards Si Xian Wang Jin. She was very pleased. What I needed to do was to lower her guard. Just as she was about to reach out to touch me, she suddenly sensed something was wrong. But by the time she reacted, it was already too late. The creature I severed sprayed a large amount of venom. The moment she lost sight, I immediately turned and fled. Si Xian Yu Jin was very angry about this. You sly bastard, is this really your true choice? But this only made her more excited. Since you want to play, I'll let you play to your heart's content. In the next instant, several fiery slashes came toward my position, and the unlucky lion dog took the hit. I knew she might win in a fight against an enemy, but I had to teach her a lesson. I wanted her to understand that battle isn't only about power. A moment later, the lion dog crawled out of the rubble. It was very angry at this moment, because it didn't expect the garlic to be hidden so deeply. As a king, he could not accept such a thing, so he chose to seek revenge. At the same time, number 26 noticed my leg was injured, but I couldn't do anything. If I hesitated for a second, that guy might catch up. So I told number 26 not to worry. Si Xian Wang Jin's eyes have special abilities. An ambush against her would be useless. Even if I hide, she'll find me quickly. Besides her eyes, she might have other sensory abilities. Right now my time is very tight. Delaying won't benefit me at all. She should already realize I'm worried about the bomb. She probably thinks I'll escape using the escape pod, so she'll block the hangar entrance and force me into a corner, waiting for me to show myself. This is likely Si Xian's strategy. Then she'll try to conquer me with her overwhelming power. In other words, it's the standard tactic. Her strategy is the same as mine against the pirates. It's like fighting against another player. Now I should focus on defeating the enemy, not the bomb. As for the information, I don't know. I can only uncover it during the battle. The current problem is that my attack and defense are far weaker than the enemy's. But if my strength increases, suddenly, I remembered something I had forgotten. I had seen its shadow in the lab before. If I devour it, I can temporarily enhance my body's abilities. The technique she uses is called sword dance. It's an ability she gained by devouring other genes. And the reason I can't use this ability now is that I haven't reached that stage yet. But when I reach that stage, I'll gain that power. By then my armor will be able to withstand her blade. I'll also be able to launch long-range attacks. The only downside is that it requires a lot of energy, so I need to finish her off within a limited time. Next I set down number 26. Number 26 was confused about what I was going to do, but I told him to stay where he was. If I remember correctly, that thing should be here. Soon I spotted its shadow. Found you. In the game, when I picked it up, buff notification would appear. I wonder what it's like in reality. Then I directly took it from the medicine cabinet. The answer can only be given after I personally try it. Seeing this, number 26 quickly stopped me, because it sensed that this thing was very dangerous. But I told him not to worry. This thing won't kill me. Without hesitation I swallowed it. In the next moment I felt a surge of power rushing toward the top of my head. My whole body felt like it was on fire. While feeling the power increase, my body was enduring tearing pain. But I had to grit my teeth and endure it. As time passed bit by bit, when I opened my eyes again, I had completed the second stage of my evolution. I was originally a powerful void creature, but now I've been forced to advance by a woman. After taking the medicine, I successfully broke through to the next stage. Seeing this, number 26 was very excited, because it realized I had become stronger again. Even my body had undergone significant changes. At this moment I felt in excellent condition. Then I opened the attribute panel. Although this evolution was temporary, the enhancements should be enough to contend with Si Xian Wang Jin. The enhanced exoskeleton has now evolved into a monster exoskeleton. The horns on my head can be used to ram or stab enemies. There's also a new stinger launcher on my left arm. Its strength is comparable to a plasma pistol. I can even modify it for specialized features. I was very pleased with this, because I can launch surprise attacks on my enemies. In addition, there's also a layer of scale armor, which protects me from mental influence. With this I no longer fear that Jiali steel can easily cut through my skin. But now I can't rejoice too soon, because in the game Psionium has a time limit. I think it's also limited to 5 minutes in reality. Then I sensed the location of Si Xian Wang Jin. I quickly found her. What I need to do now is to drain her energy. Then I connected to the creatures on the ground. 5 minutes isn't a long time, so I must finish this battle quickly. Meanwhile, on the other side, Si Xian Wang Jin was searching for the monster's figure. At this moment, she noticed something wriggling above her head. In an instant a mass above her exploded, spraying a large amount of liquid. Sudden situation caught her off guard. The liquid fell onto her face just like rain. This made her very angry. Time and again she had been mocked by an alien creature. Space battleship had been blasted open by it. Even I could feel the intense shaking here. At the same time I noticed she was quickly heading towards me. I immediately told number 26 to hold tight, because I still needed to wear down Si Xian's patience. Then I made my way to the mothership's nuclear reactor. There she wouldn't be able to fight at full strength. Even the slightest contact or vibration could trigger an explosion, no matter how many genes she has. With her current abilities she wouldn't survive a nuclear explosion. Just as I was about to reach the final passage to the core area, Si Xian had already reached me. She smiled at me, showing a friendly expression. "You naughty thing, I finally found you." Immediately 2 blades shot out from her arms. Sensing the danger I quickly threw number 26 aside. Si Xian Wang Jin swiftly unleashed several sword chi attacks. I couldn't dodge in time, so I could only brace myself. After the evolution I had indeed become much tougher. However, it seemed like I had just seen the movement of her attack clearly. Usually I wouldn't be able to see it. Could it be my super senses? Seeing this, Si Xian Wang Jin paused for a moment. She didn't expect me to grow so quickly. Taking advantage of this gap, I leapt forward, launching an attack at her. However, Si Xian's reaction speed was much faster than I imagined. She immediately slashed a knife at my chest. But all I could do was continue to feint, trying to lower her guard. At this moment Si Xian realized my speed had increased significantly, but to her it was still not enough. This battle felt like a child's play. At this moment, I sensed my opportunity. As she was recovering I used my tail to bind her. Then I quickly activated the bone spikes I had just gained. The attack was about to hit her, but unexpectedly her speed suddenly surged. With just one strike she interrupted all of my attacks. Very good. You really have brought me a lot of surprises. In the next moment a powerful aura erupted from her body. I sensed that this aura was very dangerous, so I quickly withdrew. But it was too late. In the blink of an eye my tail was severed. Damn it, this woman is really too difficult to deal with. Then she stepped on my severed tail. She knew my strategy of closing the distance. You really are an interesting toy. I suppose you've heard of the red mist? At that moment I understood what the red smoke around her was. Red mist is a predator that lives on jungle-type planets. Its toxic hair releases a pheromone that carries a threatening message. If she also has the illusion abilities of red mist, then I need to defeat her before the drug's effect fades. Panic won't help me now. I need to stay calm and wait for an opportunity. Then I charged at her again. But Si Xian thought it was quite funny. To her it was nothing more than a dying struggle. I decided to use the same tactic I used on the Space Hound. Injure to taunt. Once within range of my attack, I immediately sprayed a powerful acidic venom at her. Though she managed to strike me once, I achieved the result I needed. Because for Si Xian, being mocked by something considered a pet was an immense disgrace. So I took the opportunity to shoot a few bone spikes at her. But Si Xian seemed quite flustered. After the red form faded, she still managed to block my attack. Seeing this I immediately realized that though her power was immense, she had a fatal weakness. It seemed she couldn't use 2 abilities at once. During the battle with the Void Creature and Space Dog, she used a tactic the Space Dog never expected. Injure to kill. Once I realized I had fallen into her trap, I immediately headed for the most familiar place. And the Space Dog quickly followed me. Its presence was overwhelming. The little cockroaches hiding in the corners fled in terror. To this I showed no mercy and turned them into skewers. After all, even a mosquito is meat. One bite and it's tender and juicy. Truly high energy protein. Facing the enraged Space Dog I had no chance of victory. Though mutants are agile and strong, but they quickly consume their energy. That's why he has to stop and rest every once in a while. If I continue to provoke him and use his energy, he'll be forced to rest soon enough. Now I only have one choice. Wait. At this moment the Space Dog was going wild, destroying containers in a frenzy. I was hiding in the shadows observing quietly. Now there's another important thing to consider. He has 2 hearts, and I don't know where he's installed the detonator. Normally a mutant's heart is on the left side, so it's very likely that he connected the detonator there. However, I can't be sure where exactly it's been placed. While I was thinking, the space dog noticed my presence. Like a sledgehammer, his fist smashed through a container. But catching me was still a foolish dream. After all, this is my turf. Seeing me disappear from his sight, the space dog could only rage uselessly. At this moment he stood still for more than 10 seconds. He must have minimized his weakness during the enhancement process. Normally he should be immobile by now. But aside from his speed, nothing had changed. It seemed he couldn't completely avoid his rest period. But to me this was a rare opportunity. At the same time, the space dog sensed movement behind him. He immediately picked up a few pieces of floorboard and threw them behind him. But he had already noticed me, so I had to change direction. Just as I was about to land, I launched at him with a burst of speed. The space dog seemed to have already predicted my move. As I approached, his fist once again landed on the top of my head. But little did he know this was all a trap I deliberately exposed. Because I wanted to trade injury for a kill. Then I took out the hidden supersonic needle from the shadows. I cut open a wound at his joint. By the time the space dog realized he'd fallen for it, it was too late. Instantly the venom traveled from my fangs into his body. The space dog, feeling the pain, threw me off. Damn bug, how dare you bite me? At the same time, the space dog noticed something unusual in his body. He realized his fists didn't have as much power as before. In no time his entire body started to shake. Even his legs lost the strength to support him. Seeing him fall to the ground, I immediately charged forward. Although the paralysis effect isn't as effective on mutants as on humans, the toxin should have spread by now. The once arrogant space dog was now beneath my feet. I then pried open the armor covering his chest, because I had to deactivate the detonator inside him. And the situation was just as I expected. He had linked the detonator to his second heart on the right side. When it was hit hard, the timer started. Does he know that if this thing breaks he'll die too? Seems like he really hates me. But for me, deactivating it would only take a little time. And should I try a mutant's genetic sample? Just then, I heard number 26's voice. This struck me as odd. Didn't I tell him to find a safe place to hide? It turns out he came to warn me of trouble. Hearing this, I immediately stopped what I was doing. In an instant a memory flashed in my mind. It was an image of number 26 and I being sliced in half by some force. This image stunned me for about 2.5 seconds. When I snapped back to my senses, I immediately moved toward number 26. Then I grabbed him and ran. Just as I left with the next breath, a powerful energy slash struck the spot I had just been in, followed by the sound of a woman's footsteps. From her reaction, she must have known I have predictive abilities. See Shenyu Jin. I had planned to deal with her last. I didn't expect her to come here in person. At the same time, I noticed she had a shiny blade in her hand. Her genes must be mixed with Galasteel and another high-level creatures. Not only that, I could sense she had over 10 different genes. In my current state, there's no way I can defeat her. It's like my whole body is warning me not to face that monster. Damn it, I need to fall back. At this moment, Si Shenyu Jin slowly walked in front of the space dog. Then she thrust the shiny blade in her hand toward his chest. She clearly didn't want the space dog to die so easily. At this moment I was tense to the extreme. Facing an enemy many times stronger than me, what should I do? If I attacked her now, it would be suicide. The only thing I can do now is quietly observe her and gather information. Then I noticed that her eyes seemed to be the eyes of the space observer. Or perhaps eyes with another ability. She then called out to me. You look a lot like me. That's why I spared your life. But the condition is that you serve me.